Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com, and I've made another addition to the MercedUI library in a link/router tag. So if you're familiar with like React Router or the router in Stencil or really the router in any library, you guys know the deal. But basically, let me just show you that it works. So let's say here is the component that initially renders to this area over here, and then this is a link that's created with the link tag that's associated with this area over here. I click on it, boop, and it switches out which component is showing there. Okay, so let's show you the HTML. So literally, we have a router tag. This defines the router, the area where the components will render, and it gets a name property. Okay, because you can have many routers and as many routers as you want. Okay, so when you put this name tag, any link with the same name will basically render to that router. But each router can only have one unique name, so you can't have two routers with the same name, because that would cause issues. Okay, 1 second. Okay, and basically this default property basically defines which component will show up first. So we have a hello world component, which was defined in our app.js. So here are the two components, hello world and goodbye world, using the make live component function. Cool. So let's see here, back to the index.html. So we just say, hey, in the beginning, show the hello world component. And then here I specify the link, name, main, target. So basically, again, main matches up with main, so it's going to route to that one. And the target is goodbye world. Okay, so we'll switch out that component with goodbye world. And then here we put anything you want to show up that's clickable. So anything you put in within any children of the link tag will be clickable to trigger the link. Simple as that. Okay, no having to play anything with the JavaScript. You can just do that. So you just create your components and you have your router and your links, and life's okay. Cool. I mean, I still left like the rotators in there, so the rotators are another option to kind of get a similar effect. And again, I like leaving the smaller pieces because while they may be a little bit more code or a little bit less familiar as far as the pattern to use them, they offer you some other cool flexibility that you don't have with your traditional router link. And some more direct access, so you can kind of see more what's going on under the hood. I mean, the way I did this is pretty straightforward. It's just really two classes, and then one class basically identifies itself and attaches itself to an object. That's why the name tags have to match, and then the link tag just essentially takes a look at your props and renders to that element. This was actually a lot simpler than I expected. Actually, this whole thing turned out to be, as I delved into it, as I built this thing out, it's been a learning experience, but also once you build it, you start realizing a lot of times solutions to problems or recreating solutions and creating new solutions can oftentimes be a lot simpler than. And then I've been going out and like looking at other libraries that are also trying to like build on the Web Components API. So far, I still think that I probably have one of the more user-friendly solutions. A lot of others require that you install Babel. Like, I like the idea of decorators, but decorators aren't, standard JavaScript yet. So in that case, like I was looking at like Lightning Elements from Salesforce that uses decorators, which means you have to have Babel, transpile everything, which means you have to set up a bundler and all that fun stuff. I was taking a look at some of the other ones, generally having to require that you set up like a bundler setup. You can't just slap a script tag. Or just the way you define your components is a little bit more verbose than it really needs to be. Like even the Google's lit HTML/Polymer library, they use like this HTML tag to their literals, but there's a bunch of new syntax you have to learn, and these directives and all these things, which I guess that kind of concept they borrowed from their other library Angular, which also can be kind of complicated. So far I feel like I'm onto something here with creating something that makes the web component library quick to learn, quick to use, easy to use without necessarily adding a whole bunch of bulk to your code. So check it out. This is the MercedUI library. Thank you very much. You can get it on npm. You can also just get the script link which would be in the documentation. So in the documentation, do I have it open? That's yep, right here. You can get the CDN link right here. You get all the nice bells and whistles. Okay, or you can use the template. I have a little template set up here, so just look up MercedUI Template, and there you can literally just download this template. It has some, template code or some like boilerplate code, so that way you have like sort of a nice initial base to kind of base your code off of, and you can go from there. It doesn't use every feature, so you'd have to go back and read the documentation that use some of the other features, but it has enough that you could do a lot right away and have a good idea of how to start using this. So my name's Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. Have a great day and enjoy.